Sometimes doing exactly what you're told isn't just following orders. It's the ultimate revenge. Today's stories are all about the workplace, where logic takes a coffee break and following the rules can cause more chaos than breaking them. Let's start with a story that proves sometimes silence really is the best feedback.
Stop reporting about office burnout? Okay, done. My field of work has a high turnover and high burnout rate. As a result, my company promotes transparent conversations with staff members to ensure we are all implementing self-care, taking PTO as needed, and asking for managerial support when overwhelmed with tasks. Last year, my work began to suffer. I was struggling losing two close family members suddenly and was transparent in hopes they would understand why I was withdrawn and had lower productivity. My manager wrote me up as a result of my burnout, citing that I was using our one-on-ones inappropriately, causing stress among the team with my grief, and talking about being burnt out too much. The write-up included every single one-on-one documentation of when I asked for help with burnout. Management instructed me to stop talking about burnout. No problem. I stopped bringing up burnout, being transparent, and asking support. About 2 months later, I request a 7-week leave of absence, citing extreme burnout and mental health issues. Management was shocked and angry that I did not tell them I was struggling or burning out. I handed them a copy of my write-up and said, "The action plan I received stated I could not talk about burnout anymore." Management was scolded for inadvertently creating a hostile work environment where staff couldn't ask for support. I got 7 weeks off and partial pay, and they had to cover my job for that entire time I was out.
When management says, "Stop talking about burnout," then acts shocked when you actually burn out, that's not irony. That's a case study. 10 out of 10 malicious compliance. What would you have done? Stayed quiet or called HR out directly? Let me know in the comments. Next, we're heading into the world of office jokes, where boundaries and banter can blur in uncomfortable ways.
Am I the jerk for asking my coworker to stop referring to herself as my work wife? I, 34 male, have a coworker, Lila, 31 female, who constantly jokes that we're work spouses. It started as harmless banter, but lately it's making things weird. She'll say things like, "My husband at home and my husband at work. I'm so lucky." Or, "You're basically my office soulmate." She even told a new hire that, "I'm married at work." Here's the issue. I am actually married, and my wife saw one of Lila's posts tagging me in a work husband appreciation meme. My wife laughed it off at first, but now she's uncomfortable. I told Lila politely that I appreciate the friendship but would prefer if she stopped with the work wife stuff. She got offended and said I was making it weird and that everyone jokes like that. Now she's distant at work, and another coworker said I humiliated her by rejecting her joke like it was romantic. Am I the jerk for asking her to stop?
Setting a boundary isn't rejection, it's respect. And if someone can't handle that, maybe they were taking the joke a little too seriously. Would you have told her to stop or just ignored it to keep the peace? Drop your answer below. And our final story proves that sometimes the mess isn't the problem, it's the rulebook. This one's pure malicious compliance gold.
All items on floor are trash. Have fun rooting through the dumpster. I'm a custodian for an office building. I clean bathrooms, take out trash, vacuum, etc. I clean in the morning before the office opens. When collecting trash, I'd occasionally find some loose papers under/behind desks, beside the trash can or otherwise on the floor. Since I'm not sure if these papers are trash that missed the can or important documents that fell on the floor by accident, I pick them up and put them on the corner of the nearest desk for the workers to either file them away or toss them. Better safe than sorry. However, the manager did not like this habit. She came in early one morning, expressing disgust that trash is being placed on people's desks. Obviously, I never put actual trash like food wrappers or crumpled papers on desks. I explained my reasoning for my habit and expressed that I didn't want to risk tossing something important. My manager told me that everything on the floor is trash and the workers aren't such immature slobs to drop important documents on the floor. I agreed and said I'd never do it again. Flash forward several weeks. My manager came in early again and expressed concerns because a filing cabinet had tipped over the day, and despite picking up the papers, they were still missing a few important documents. She asked if I'd seen them. I reminded her that since everything on the floor is trash, the documents were probably thrown away. She was irate, saying, "But this was an exception since a filing cabinet fell over." I asked her how I was supposed to know that when I'm not there during the day and was otherwise not informed to look out for these documents. That's when the situation dawned in this woman's eyes that she was her fault. She stumbled through some excuses before demanding I go to the dumpster and find the papers. I told her that the office was opening in 15 minutes and I still had work to do. She stormed off and said she'd start looking in the dumpster. While I cleaned, I knew I'd face her again before leaving. My car is parked by the dumpster. So I thought of what to say to her as the final nail in the coffin. Sure enough, when I finished my work and walked out, the manager and a few other workers who'd arrived were rooting through the dumpster. When the manager spotted me, she demanded I come help. I delivered my prepared line. "Ma'am, my job description is to take out trash. Your job description is to ensure the safety and confidentiality of your client's files." I walked away to, in my head, a cartoon-esque villain scream of outraged failure from my manager. A few hours later, and I got a text saying there will now be a special inbox shelf for me to place any papers found to the floor for the workers to go through.
Sometimes doing exactly what you're told is the fastest way to show how broken the rule really is. Turns out the only thing that needed sorting was the policy. Next time, common sense first, dumpster second. Comment below. Tell us your most incompetent boss story.